guys, welcome back to Doing Life with Pastor Donovan and Pastor Chantal.
It's so good that we could join you on this Wednesday morning for our little family chat.
Great to have you guys, and thank you, Zoe, thank you, Sage, for joining us. Zoe and Sage, being teenagers in the home, we want to talk about.
Well, today we're going to talk about dating. Seeing that we celebrated Valentine's Day yesterday, we thought it would be helpful just to chat about dating. You know, different people always ask, when is the right time for your kids to start dating? So today we're just going to get some insight from teenagers, how they feel about the love, the love situation.
And so what we want to do today, really, there is no right and wrong, and we understand that people have different perspectives, parents have different views, and so we are not by any stretch of imagination telling you that this is the right way.
Yeah.
We simply want to put out there what are different perspectives and hear from our children what it is that they are facing in the dating world today. And so we've prepared a couple of questions and that we're just going to shoot at the kids and find out, their views.
Yeah. So obviously Sage is the kid in our household that's been dating for over a year. That he's been going steady with his girlfriend. And so Sage, I suppose what we want to know is, what were you looking for in a girl?
Well, for me personally, it was always I was always looking for a God-fearing woman and someone that was really involved in church. And the year that I met Janae, she was very involved in church, and that's what I was looking for. And what attracted me to her was her eyes, her blue eyes.
Okay.
Oh, that's awesome. And Zoe, you're not in a relationship at the moment. Thank the Lord for that. Being a father, it's very difficult to have a teenage daughter that might be looking for love interest elsewhere. Us should be the love of her life, other than Jesus, of course. But Zoe, what is it that you would be looking for in a boy?
For me personally, it always starts off with respect. How a man treats or how a boy treats his family, his mother and sister especially, will be how they will treat me.
That's a good answer. Yeah. All right, so it's to measure in terms of how they treat others around you.
Yes.
Yeah. And I also think saying that, it's so important, like if your child is interested in a boy or in a girl, it's important, or do you think it's important that person needs to come to your house, to come to your family to meet that person? Either of you can answer that.
Well, for me, it's more of a thing that I feel like I should know this person well enough in order for me to bring them to the house. Because if I don't know them well enough and I bring them to you guys and you guys get to know them and things don't go according to plan, then for me it was like,
Waste of time.
a waste of it. So I need to know that this person is like, he could be a really good potential,
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't just bring everyone home. Yeah, like Zoe said, you need to know if they are the right people. But I would always talk about that person to my parents, obviously gaining their opinion. What do they? And they've always said to us like, "Yeah, no, but you're too young to date. You're too young to date." And yeah, no, we were too young to date, but it's also got that sense of maturity that you have to have in a relationship. It's not all about the age.
Yeah. And I think that is, you talking about maturity, I think you as parent, I think you know your kid best. You know if your kid is emotionally mature enough to deal with the relationship. I think that is important for you to set those boundaries and for you as a parent to guide, I think, your kid, because you will know your kid best than you as the mom or the dad.
And so what we are saying in our experience and our opinion, there is no set age.
Yeah.
It's not about, when you're 18 or when you're 20. It's a matter of, are you emotionally mature? Because relationships can get messy. And what starts off as two people being interested in one another, finding a lot of common ground, can very often spiral out of control. And for example, if there's a lack of respect or whatever the case may be, if there's red flags, it can often turn that relationship to a point where it becomes sour.
Yeah.
and the relationship and even the friendships can be destroyed
That's right.
around that.
And you talk, sorry, what do you want to say?
No, I just wanted to ask, since we're talking about age and everything, in our generation, you'd commonly see that teenagers, especially in high school, you'd find a grade 8 learner dating a matric learner. So I just want to ask, was that frowned upon in your guys' generation, or was that like a cool thing to do?
I think again, when we look at school, for example, I started dating when I wasn't saved. I wasn't an active Christian, and for me, the motive around having a girlfriend was different to what it was when I got saved. So the age didn't really make a difference. It was, was I having fun with the friends? Was I having fun with the girlfriend in terms of could we go to places together and stuff like that? So the the age gap to me wasn't the important, but what I must say is that obviously you hang out with your same age group.
Yeah.
And so automatically, the girl that you date automatically falls within that age group.
That's right. Yeah.
So it's not like you're going to look for someone that is within your age specific group. In fact, that's how I experienced it.
And I think, I can also just speak of my perspective, what I experienced. I think, like you rightly say, you always just moved in your age, in your grade, and you're seeing the younger kids or the young kids in a lower grade, they were immature for you. So that is, but you always just hang out with your age group. So there was no fast rule that it would be frowned upon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Sage, I just want to check with you. You've been going steady with your girlfriend for, as you said, over a year. What kind of made the switch between the term that we hear today with young people, vibing, versus now this is now my girlfriend, I'm now going steady with her? What kind of crosses that bridge? What defines it?
So vibing is, you're not necessarily dating the person. You are secluded to that person alone, but you are not dating them. You just getting the vibe of them.
Getting to know
You're
them.
getting to know them in the sense of how they will act in a relationship. But when you actually ask them, will you be my girlfriend? You're committing yourself fully to them and them only. That's what I think the difference is between vibing and being in a fully committed relationship.
And I don't know if you guys heard about this, but nowadays we have this thing called the 3-month rule. So basically a 3-month rule is like the first 3 months of you guys getting to know each other. And because they say that a person shows their true self within 3 months of how they will treat you after 3 months. So we say that if they become disloyal within that 3 months, that should kind of show you how they will be during the relationship.
That's a red flag.
Yeah. If they can't be committed to you in a 3-month period, then it should show you that they won't be able to be committed to you in the rest of the relationship. Example.
Yeah. So I think today we can also see that moms and dads, that there are lingos that we need to pick up as parents. So because what something means for us doesn't necessarily mean the same for our kids today.
Yeah.
So I think it's important that we understand these lingos and what it means, so that we can always be on the same level and relevant to them. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So my question to you, you're both Christians, all right? You both by no means are perfect, but you love Jesus. And so my question to you is, where do you draw the line in terms of being, passionate, or I can't get to the word, but almost physical, is hand-holding allowed? Do you spend time alone? Is it an irritation to you if there are people around, or that you're always in crowds and stuff like that, or if you understand my question, what is that kind of the physical limitations?
Well, it differs. It differs from person to person, in my opinion. Uh, I've like my parents said, I've been in a fully committed relationship for over a year now, and you get to know who your other half is, basically, if I can say that, and I know that physical touch and quality time is one of Jeanet's love languages. So that's something that I will always try to push, but there is always also a limit.
There's boundaries.
There's boundaries. You can't cross certain boundaries when you're in public or when you're in front of other people. Not because you're uncomfortable with it, but it's also to just show respect to the other people around you.
And I just feel like in a relationship, you have that where you spend quality time and you get to know the person. Like go on dates and in public hold hands, because it's just like that connection, you know? And when you must be able to be comfortable enough to go out with your friends, and you can't just have your relationship based on when we're together, you know? Like when you're in a relationship, you must show that you're in a relationship in front of other people as well, you know? Not saying you must be kissing and all touch, but like have that hold hands or, you know, and if the person needs to be comforted and their way of feeling comfort is like a hug or just being held, then it's just differs from people to people, like your love language, you know?
Okay.
So that is so what you're
It's
saying, it's
important,
important that you know the next person love language.
Yes.
And when we talk about love languages when we do counseling with couples, so we can see that love languages is not just for adults. Here we even the youngsters, they talk about love language. But I also think it's important as parents, like you guys know, we always put boundaries in place. You know that you're never alone, we never leave you alone at home with your girlfriends, and because just as to safeguard all of us, not that we don't trust you or not that you don't trust your kid, but we need to put boundaries in place. That kids know there is boundaries that they don't that they can't overstep.
And I think, you know, one of the things that Zoe spoke about is respect.
Yeah.
And young ladies, you know, one of the things that guys need to respect is your body and your physical and who you are. You're more than just someone that they can smooch with or hold hands with, or you know, you are someone to be respected. Your body, and there are certain limits that they cannot, and boundaries that they cannot. So when boys try and cross certain boundaries, you know, again, you know, we speak about red flags often. You know, that is certainly one of the things that young ladies need to be aware of. You know, that you know, without or at the risk of now being a pastor, your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit.
Right.
And so it needs to be respected, and that goes for boys as well.
Yeah.
You know, that goes for all genders. It doesn't really. It's not just a boy to girl or a girl to boy. You know, at the end of the day, we need to respect who we are. Our physical bodies first. We need to know who we are, and so my allowing people to be inappropriate with me is not something that a boy or a girl should allow.
That's right.
And I feel like that also comes with self-respect. Like also with the 3-month rule, you should kind of see that, you know, in that 3-month rule, it's to get to know a person more than physical and, you know, smoochy. It's to get to know who the person really is.
That's right.
You know, that will come with the term of vibing as well. So, and I'm not saying that vibing should only be 3 months because people vibe for longer, you know. But yes, you should have that self-respect to know that if I really like a boy but he's taking advantage, you should have that self-respect to say, you know what, I'm going to respect myself enough to let this boy go because he clearly doesn't respect me. You know?
Okay. Well, for me, that is a sign of maturity. If you can get to that point and you know who you are. Boys and girls, boyfriends, girlfriends don't define you. You know. you are who God says you are. And whether this Valentine, whether you had a Valentine, got gifts or didn't get gifts, or you had a boy interested in you or a girl interested in you or you didn't, that should not define you. It does not define you. At the end of the day, you need to be a confident person in your ability, who you are.
And one big thing in a relationship is you should always love yourself first.
That's right.
Don't ever get into a relationship if you can't love yourself, because if that relationship goes south, then it's not that you just lost someone that you love, but
You also lost.
you also lost part of yourself because you didn't love yourself to begin with.
That's right. So how do you know, other than when you start vibing with someone, the qualities that you look for? How, like, say it's you constantly tell us, this is your soulmate. How do you get to that point that you know this person is, that you're not going to waste a person's youth? A lot of times boys date girls for long periods, and then they break up on the end of the day. That is almost you wasting someone else's youth. So how did you know that Shanae is your other half, like you normally tell us?
Yeah, that's me and her I've always, in high school, one of my teachers always said, if you guys are heading in the same direction, that's a good sign. And obviously me and Shanae have been speaking about a lot of our dreams, a lot of our plans, a lot of what we want to do, what we want to be one day when we're older, and most of those plans do line up with my plans also. So we are both heading in the same direction. And I remember the one night I was talking to God, just praying to Him to just give me a sign to show me that she's the one. And a few weeks later, He did.
Oh, it's awesome. Awesome. And so, the discussion that we had today, once again, is I think it's important that, if you've got teenagers in your home, don't discard the fact that they have lives out there that possibly involve boys and girls, people of the opposite sex. And so be brave enough as a parent to have that discussion. And I mean, here my kids are sitting, and one of the things that we always encourage them to do is talk to us. It doesn't matter what you need to say. There is nothing that you can say or do that's going to make us love you less.
That's right.
And that is just a relationship that we want to encourage. But again, by no means we're saying we're the perfect parents. But I would like to believe that, if my children ever is faced with a serious situation where relationships are concerned, they have enough confidence to come to us, knowing that we will listen to them, and not try and fix things from our perspective, but help and understand things from their perspective as well. So listen to your children. They actually have got valid points and valid things that they can add to us.
And I think, sometimes I find that people or parents tell the kids, you can talk to me about anything, but when the kid does, they get such a shock that they don't want to discuss the deeper problem or go into it, because they don't always have the answers, or they sometimes they feel that the kids are not mature enough. But I think if we just sit down and we just we're open to listen and to hear their perspective, we'll actually find that they mature. And your kid. Your kid if it's just something that they say that you want to hear, or is it really something that they believe in?
Well, are there any closing thoughts, any closing ideas that you maybe want to share with anybody that's watching this, our viewers? No? You good? Right. Well then, from my side, thank you so much for joining, and I really hope that this discussion encouraged a discussion in your family, with your children, with your husband and your wife, that, at the end of the day, yes, it is not easy always to navigate around teenage challenges and problems, but God has anointed us as parents, and always know that God is there with you. He will give you the wisdom, He will give you the guidance. So I've got a beautiful family, and thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for your input. And I know that our viewers have got some stuff to talk about and some things to think about. And I know that at the end of the day, God will always be there for us.
That's right. Well, and sometimes it's uncomfortable discussions, but to have with your teenagers, especially about relationships and how they feel and about dating. But you know, like Miles when he's saying, God gives us as parents, He anointed us to be parents. And it's important for us as moms and dads to always navigate our kids the way God wants their life to go around, and always make sure that they know who they are in Christ. I think that is important, that we make sure that they know who they are in Christ before they can go into relationships. So we trust that this discussion add value to your life. And so from our home family to your home, we love you and we're continuously praying for you.
Bye now. Bye.